Hey guys, welcome back to another impressions video and another Sonic game. I already did my impressions video on Sonic 4 Episode 1, kind of going through Sonic games that I have either not played in the past or played very little. And with the Sonic movie and all the hype, I decided to explore a couple of the Sonic games that are offered through the PlayStation Now service, which it has a lot of Sonic games for some reason offered in its catalog or library. And this particular game, it's a very novel one, Sonic the Fighters. It's not a great fighting game. In fact, it's not a good fighting game. But as opposed to my great dislike for Sonic 4, which I thought it was a very poor platforming game, one of the worst platforming games that I played. Even though I admit that Sonic the Fighters is not a good fighting game, quite the opposite. I think it's a very poor fighting game. I did have a lot of fun because of just the novelty of trying a very different type of Sonic game. So for me, my interest and my enjoyment out of this game was based on the novelty of this game, which it was never released on consoles or anything like that. From my understanding, the first time anyone was able to play this was through the Nintendo GameCube, and then the game got released to different systems later on, like the 360 and the PlayStation 3. So the version that I play is the PlayStation 3 version via the PlayStation Now streaming service. And then again, I'm glad I did, because even though it's not a good fighting game, it is a very I don't know how to explain it, but it's just a very strange but pleasant experience based on the novelty of the game itself. This game came out, I believe, in 1996, originally in the arcades, and it was developed by, or created by Sega AM2, a very well-known studio for Sega. And this game, if I'm not mistaken, runs on that Virtua Fighter type of game engine. The game is very similar in terms of the looks and the physics and whatnot. The difference here being that these are Sonic characters. Obviously, you have a bunch of Sonic friends, or well-known characters like Knuckles, for example. You can play as him, and I believe the roster has like 10 different fighters or something like that. And the game itself is pretty short. You can beat this game in less than, I don't know, like 20 minutes. And the game is pretty easy as well. I played this on both easy and normal difficulty, and even normal it feels pretty easy to beat. I did not play the game on harder difficulties. Again, I didn't feel like doing that, just because the game itself is not very good. But again, it was that novelty factor that drove me towards trying this game. The graphics are obviously, as you can expect, that classic Sega arcade type of, I guess if you want to call it blocky graphics, but they look pretty good for what they are. You have to keep in mind this was a 1996 game, and in my opinion, it looks pretty good. It's a very colorful game. Like the Sonic universe is, the characters are very colorful, and the game runs pretty well as far as the frame rate and whatnot. I did not see any slowdowns personally, except the ones that were created by PlayStation Now, which is a pretty spotty service. It's a streaming service, so there were a couple of issues that were the direct result of PlayStation Now, but not the game itself, if that makes any sense. And it was fun exploring with the different characters. Of course, characters like Sonic and Knuckles, for example, they have their characteristic spin dash attack. Characters like Amy Rose, for example, she has like her hammer attack. And the different characters have different their own unique characteristics and attacks. And it's fun exploring the game as much as it is a short game. The rounds are very, very short. I think the default is like 30 seconds, 30 seconds or something like that for the round durations. The game has its charm, and even though it's not a great fighting game, there's not a whole lot of depth involved in it. Even though the game does have a combo system, and it does have, you can link combos and all that if you're into that. You know, the game itself almost plays like a you know, smash buttons and just time your attacks pretty well. The AI was not very bright in my opinion, and the game does have some cool things, like you can use a shield, and you have certain layers of shields that you can use, and you know, you can keep blocking and then your shield wanes off. And I think this is one of the keys to beating the AI in higher difficulties or higher, you know, the harder, the more you progress through the game, the harder the game gets, obviously. And this is a key, you know, breaking the guard or the shield of the AI. I found out that it's very easy, because once they lose their shield, you can just go gung-ho, be very aggressive, and they won't be able to block any attacks. So, you know, that was one of the strategies that I came up while playing this game. The game has like 8 levels or stages, and it includes a kind of like a boss fight towards the end that is pretty entertaining, or 2 boss fights actually. And you know, the game itself, again, it's colorful. You know, the soundtrack, it's adequate for what the Sonic universe is. And you know, again, even though this is nowhere near to being a decent fighting game, the novelty factor is what drove me, and I'm pretty glad I played this game. It's part of PlayStation Now service. I would have not bought this game separately, because again, you can really complete this game in under an hour. And by completing, I mean, if you guys are into trophy or achievements, this game is really easy. It does not have a platinum trophy, but it's really easy to get 100% of the trophies in this game. There are not many trophies. It's one of those games that doesn't have a platinum trophy, but again, you can really get all the trophies in this game by just playing normally, and most of them are really easy to get. So if you guys are into boosting your achievement scores or whatnot, you know, check this game out. And if you're a Sonic fan and never played this game, I wouldn't recommend buying this per se, but if you guys have PlayStation Now or any other means of playing this game on a cheap way, or a quote-unquote free via a subscription, I definitely think you guys should check it out, because it's part of the Sonic franchise. It's not a mainline game, obviously. It's one of those side games. But I did have a pretty decent time playing this game, and I'm glad I was able to experience this game. I think I enjoy playing all these, you know, side or spin-off games, like the Sonic Racing games, or even like Sonic Tennis on the DS. I remember it was fun exploring that type of game. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all later.